longer. You play Calgary, it's the last game before the break. Just kind of a lot of things that you would use maybe as motivation heading into this last game.
I mean, you don't need any more motivation than kind of where we are in the standings right now. Every game is a big game right now. Every point's huge for us. So Battle of Alberta is always huge, but just, I mean, every 2 points right now is big for us. So we can use that as motivation moving forward.
And will that help the fact that it is the Battle of Alberta coming off a tough effort that you guys had in your last outing here?
I think so. It always raises the stakes a little bit more. There's usually not a whole lot of space out there. Two teams that don't really get along with each other. So, I mean, it makes for a perfect game heading into another break here, and we've done pretty well heading into the last couple of breaks, so we're looking to head into this one on a high note.
You've had success against Calgary in the recent past, I guess. What has it been you guys have done well against this team?
I think we do a pretty good job of taking away the transition. They're a fast team. They get up the ice quick. They got 6 defensemen that can really move the puck up to those quick forwards. So I think we've done a good job of staying above their speed, having a good gap, and not allowing them to beat us at the line. So we have to take away the transition game again tonight, and I think we'll be in good shape.
Is there still belief that this team can get to the Stanley Cup playoffs again?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of belief in this room. We know we just have to put together a few runs here. We have the group to do it. I fully believe that, and everyone else in this room believes it as well. So we're cutting it close here now, but I think we've got the group to do it, and looking forward to the opportunity and the challenge.
Over the last couple of days, this team has taken its fair share of it. team has trouble getting up for some reason. That probably won't be the case tonight, but can you talk a little bit about why that is with the Battle of Alberta division opponent in the front?
Yeah, it's obviously a team that we see a lot, a team that we play against a lot, and have built up more and more. The rivalry dates back to way before us, but even probably over the last 3 years, I think it's two teams that have kind of continued to grow. I think obviously they're in a position right now a little better than ours, and we need to step up and try to work our way up there. But yeah, they've always been tough games, no matter where we're playing, whether it's here or in Calgary. So yeah, it's one that we should all be up for, and one that we should be looking forward to.
Is it easy to just kind of wash away, play so quickly after what happened with Buffalo? It's nice to be back at it right away against Calgary, just kind of at home, trying to point things in the right direction.
Yeah, it's good to get right back out on the ice. Just one practice and then back to a game. So yeah, looking forward to just getting out there and playing.
Do you see this as like a redemption thing, like the way that people look at it, or do you guys not view it through that lens?
Redemption for what?
Last game was not a very good one.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Got to play. New game tonight, and looking forward to the challenge. This is a good team, good divisional game. Just looking forward to going out there and us putting out our best effort.
Okay.
Just want to ask you really quick about the schedule and all these breaks you guys seem to have. Is it weird as a player where you have essentially 3 breaks in like a 4-week span? Yeah,
it's you kind of get into a rhythm, then you got a break, and another rhythm, and then a break. So it's different, but I mean, it's good. It's good to have, especially with knowing the last month and a half we're basically playing every other day, and so you have to make the most of these breaks and put yourself in a position that, especially coming down to this last stretch after All-Star break, we're in a position where we can just work hard, get out there, and give our best effort every night.
Just what's the mindset of the team after what we saw the other night, and kind of caught a lot of people off guard considering you guys had been playing pretty well going into that game. How are you guys as a team right now mentally?
We're still in a good spot. Obviously, last game is not where we want to be, but we have a resilient group in here, and we're going to find a way to bounce back from that. We found ways to bounce back a few times this year, and we have to make sure that we come back with our best effort of the season tonight. It's a big bounce back game for us, get our game back on track, head into the All-Star break on a good note, and kind of flush away that Buffalo game. How easy is it to get into a game, especially against Calgary? And it seems like over the last year and a half, 2 years, you guys like these games. Yeah, it's a Battle of Alberta. It's always a good one. Maybe this is the game that we need to really light a fire in our ass and get us going here. It's a big test for us. They've been playing really well lately, and we're gonna have to match their intensity and live up to that Battle of Alberta expectations.
Jake, what's the mentality like in this room with how things have been going? I mean, obviously, you guys don't want to be losing 5-0 too many more times, but just the negativity, I guess, that's out there now, online or with fans and the booing and stuff like that. How do you insulate yourself from that?
Use it as fuel. There's nothing else you can really do. The outside world is something we can't control, whether it's online or in the arena. We just got to control what we can control and stay positive in here and have faith in one another in this locker room. It doesn't matter what the outside world thinks. We got to believe in ourselves and believe in our teammates, and that's going to go a lot further for us.
Connor said after the game, he said for some reason sometimes we're just not ready to play as a team, and he said it starts with him and then goes down. What do you account that for? Because last year that wasn't an issue for this team, and this year it's been an issue on numerous occasions.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if you can pinpoint one thing that's going to prove why that happens. But we have to find a way to have better starts. We've been giving up the first goal a lot of times throughout the season. It's always hard to play from behind, and I think early on we just got to keep it simple and do the little things and build your game from there, and then that way you can lead into a better period going forward. But we have to start off simple and then work our way into the game. We can't just start trying to make plays to the blue line and all that sort of stuff right off the hop. We just got to find a way to get pucks in net, keep it simple, and do the little things, and then build from there.
Do you find is that more of like mental preparation prior to the game, or just
a little bit of both. You have to go into the game with the expectations of how you're going to play and how you want to start the game. But at the same time, once you're in the game, you have to still make plays and think. So it's a little bit of both before and during. But we got to find a way to do a better job.
So you've had some challenges with teams like Buffalo over the course of the last couple of seasons, but one team that you've got the good record against and you've played well against is Calgary. Are there certain intrinsic reasons why you've had that kind of success? Is it an easier game for your group to get motivated? What exactly is it that's giving you this kind of...
Well, let's make sure we understand we have our challenges with Calgary. They're a great team. They're competitive. I think they've improved throughout the year, made changes to their roster, and they present big challenges for our group. It's never easy. We've been able to scrape wins out, sometimes playing well, sometimes coming from behind. So that's been a fortunate thing for us. But when you play your rival, your provincial rival, you tend to, or you should be excited, and the palm should be a little sweatier than normal, and it should be a great game. It always is between the two teams, and it's usually a lot of fun to be involved in those games from a player perspective and from a fan perspective.
Todd, when it comes to the last game, do you kind of forget it and put in a good effort today, and if you get the result, people are talking about winning 4 of the last 5 as opposed to the game in Buffalo? Is that how you guys approach it, or do you try and take as many lessons?
It's tough to forget it. It lingers. But we've got to move on, and we've got to get prepared to play, as I mentioned, against a team that's, I think they got points in 10 straight games. So they're playing and firing on all cylinders, and it's tough to forget that taste that's in our mouth right now. And sometimes you may want to carry that over and use it as a driver or a motivating factor as well.
Lineup changes. Might you play 7 defensemen?
There's a chance that we could do that. We'll see as the day goes on.
Just wondering about Oscar Klefbom and where you think his all-around game is. Not just the point production, which is down, but the all-around game and what you think he can do the rest of the season to try and recapture what he had last year.
Well, with Clef, you've got to establish what the top and bottom is, and then you've got to slot him where he is right now. And I would say during the season, he dipped past that midway point, and he slowly, as he's got healthier, is elevating his game above that midway point. But the point where he's at now on the ceiling is a gap that he still has to close.
Todd, we'll assume you don't go in front of 20 NHL players and say, hey, let's compete tonight. But there's been a definite issue here at home, certainly since Christmas, beaten 5-0 3 times. How does a coach go about making sure he gets the team that skates and competes and tries and plays hard as opposed to the team we've seen certainly on those 3 nights?
Well, it's happened 3 nights since Christmas, so the approach that we've used exactly the answer to the question. I think that you guys have actually made my job a little bit easier. Through the media and pointing out the lack of drive and will. Players hear that. We can all say, hey, we turn it off. We hear it whether we're reading or listening or not. We hear that, and we feel it. That should be motivation enough. Our rival should bring some of that out. Our self-pride, as I mentioned, we put our names on the backs of our jerseys too, and we represent our families and our loved ones, and I know when my dad calls me, he asks me what the hell is going on and what am I doing, and I have to accept that responsibility, and he's making sure that I'm working and giving an honest effort, and I'm sure that's happening out throughout. So we get a lot of external motivators as well as the internal one. We'll present a game plan. We'll try and repair the areas that we need to, and we'll play a game, and I believe our group can come and play hard.
Connor's kind of a leader of few words. He doesn't say a lot. He's very careful and selective with what he says. After last game, he was very blunt and just said, sometimes we're just not ready to go, and said starts with himself. And are you sensing that he's becoming more comfortable and as a guy who can maybe be a little bit more vocal? I know you can't just ask guys to be what they're not, but have you noticed him becoming a little bit more comfortable maybe saying things that he was a year ago?
We do this. We talk and we share thoughts and ideas, and you do it with the players. You're standing in the room and you do it there. What you don't see is what happens behind closed doors. And true leadership doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen when they're talking to you guys with a microphone in their face. A little bit, But the strong leadership happens in the locker room between periods, after games, on the bench, practices, that type of stuff. And, you know, Connor's providing that. I don't question that one bit.
Todd, with 12 points and 5 teams between the Oilers and a playoff spot, is there still belief that you guys can get back in the race? And if so, how do you approach doing that?
Well, there is belief until it's completely taken away from. There's belief, but it's not a discussion point on our behalf when we get into the locker room. It's about fixing our game and getting played the right way. You know, playoffs are a pipe dream if we play like we play against Buffalo. We have to play extremely well for a extended period of time. You know, that's the reality of it. The extended period of time is secondary. The playing well comes first. And that's what we're striving for. So forget about the playoff talk on our behalf anyhow in the locker room. It doesn't happen. It's about playing right and competing and getting our game up to where it needs to be. And then we'll extend it out. And if things happen our way, we'll begin to talk about it.
Todd, you mentioned the possibility of 7 defensemen tonight. With Brandon Davidson, how do you see him handling that spot where, you know, he might play a couple games and then sit out a little bit, because that can obviously be tough for players sometimes, not knowing whether he's in or out, even if he plays well?
It's tough for players, but Brandon has been that role player basically throughout his NHL career. He's been a pinch hitter. He's been able to play in the 5-6 spot consistently for a little while, but sometimes he goes out. You know, players are paid and trained that way to come off the bench in a lot of sports, and they have to be able to provide a punch or, you know, a lift. And if they do that, then the team will be successful, the individual will be successful.
Just want to know, a lot of different line combinations this year, sometimes game to game. Where are you with the combinations that you tried? For a lack of a better term, is it grasping at straws right now to find that right combination to see if it clicks? Because it seems a lot of...
It's not grasping at straws by any means. It's not what we do. We put a lot of thought and effort into it. We try and keep some pairs together. When we got back up and running after our Christmas letdown, we had Leon back up on the wing, and we were able to run Nuge. Obviously, Leon isn't there anymore, so that changes things. You know, so it varies from night to night, and you know, when you're watching what you're watching against Buffalo the other night, you can't just stand there and keep, hey, next. You start to send messages, you start to find combinations, you look for at least 2 lines that are up and running, and you hope that you can overplay them. But when the whole group isn't going well, you're gambling. Okay.